MJ went through that, LeBron went through that. All those things is part of being great.
You cannot keep me down. Flex on him, Giannis.
We are built for this. Job is not done.
You cannot keep me down.
I think it's reasonable to say there is no all-time great currently playing any sport that we spend more time and energy focused on what he or she cannot do than Giannis Antetokounmpo. Is he Batman? Is he Robin? Is he more Michael or Pippen? All these questions, what a shame that is for us. Because what we are thus failing to do is bask in the glory of one of the greatest starts to an NBA career ever. Consider, if he wins tonight, Giannis will have back-to-back MVPs and a championship before turning 27. The only players ever to do that before are Kareem and Tim Duncan. Kareem won his title with Oscar. Duncan with David Robinson. The two best players on Giannis's team are Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday. Neither of them has ever been All-NBA, much less a first-ballot Hall of Famer. So we've been busy talking about how Giannis can't shoot threes. Here's what he's been doing. First, posting up 33 times in the finals. As a team, the Suns have 19. He's been D'ing up. Over the last 3 seasons, he's the only defender to hold opponents under 40% shooting. He's the best defensive player in the league. And he's been flat dominating. Giannis is on pace to average 30 points, 10 boards, and 5 assists in the finals. Only LeBron, Kareem, and Hakeem ever did that before, and he's doing it shooting 61% from the floor. The only player ever to average 30 on 60% shooting in finals history is Shaq. Now, all of this comes from a guy who signed a supermax before the season so as not to be a distraction to his team. He's a guy who could have been a free agent this summer, could have joined a super team if he wanted to. Instead, he stayed in Milwaukee, where it's been 50 years since Alcindor. Giannis, homegrown, 15th pick in the draft. 3 weeks ago tonight, he was on the ground writhing in pain, thinking he had blown out his knee. So, if we so choose, we can go ahead and stay focused on all the things the Greek Freak doesn't do. But by this time tomorrow, if he wants to show us the finger in return, he may very well be getting it sized up for a ring. That's what I think. Let's see what the crew thinks this morning. Big Perk is back with us, and my friend Jalen Rose has gotten up early here, and I cannot wait to hear. Jalen, you heard what I just said. What is your response?
I love you, Big Perk. Put a smile on your face, big fella. It's a beautiful day. You might as well just say Perk's name, Greeny. When you just did your soliloquy, you should have just said Perk's name. Perk was the one talking about he shouldn't be all defense and he should go play against Kevin Durant in the early series. Perk was the one talking about he's more Robin than Batman, and then when he debated with me, he switched it up and tried to call him Superman. Perk was the one talking about he's not a closer and Chris Middleton should win Finals MVP. Just own it. The last time I was on this show, at the bottom of the screen, it said, is Giannis Batman or Robin? That's attributed to one human being that comes on this show, my brother who I love very much, Kendrick Perkins.
Let me just clearly say, Kendrick Perkins is much too big for me to be directly attacking him that way. But I'm much too smart for that. But Big Perk, you have the floor. Go.
Well, Granny, they have an old song back in the day that goes, I keep hearing footsteps, baby, in the dark.
Who's the artist?
In the
Who's the artist? So when you have those footsteps coming at you, see, sometimes you feel some type of way. And one thing about me, Greeny, is that when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And one thing I don't have a problem with is giving the younger generation a card, right? Giving them their props. If Giannis goes and wins this championship and wins Finals MVP, I will bow down to Giannis. I will call Giannis a top 10 power forward of all time, knocking at the door of a top 5 power forward of all time. Now, let me give you some analysis to what you said, Granny. This is why I say that. When you talk about his short career, not even scratching the surface of his prime, right? You don't reach your prime till the age of 27. His resume is longer than the holiday weekend. The 2 back-to-back MVPs, I get it. But when you talk about the MVP and the Defensive Player of the Year in a single year, it's only 2 players to ever do it other than Giannis. That's Hakeem Olajuwon and Michael Jordan. So if he goes and wins a championship along with the Finals MVP, I have no problem with giving Giannis credit. I'm not that dude. I'm a type of dude that, hey,
I was wrong. Giannis has dominated. There it go. At the end of the day, look, we're watching a guy at his finest. We're watching a guy that is performing at a great high level. And right now, I have nothing negative to say about Giannis.
Let me be clear, and all kidding aside, I wasn't aiming that just at Big Perk because, Jalen, here was the point, and Hembo and I came up with this yesterday. It feels to me like because the game is played the way it is played today, and all of the great stars in the sport play with the ball in their hands and generally score from the perimeter, we spend a lot of time, not just Perk, everybody spends a lot of time analyzing the fact that Giannis doesn't do that and generally overlooks all the other things that he does do in a way that basically no one else in the NBA is doing now. That really, Jalen, is the point I was trying to make.
Absolutely, but that's a disrespect to big men in the history of the NBA. There aren't many guys that you're going to get a basketball to 35 feet away from the floor and say, go make a play for yourself or go make a play for your teammate. The Joker is a guy who's the reigning MVP that's done it. But usually that guy has to rely on his perimeter players, like you see right there, Pat Connaughton, to make shots. Has to rely on Chris Middleton to make plays. And also Drew Holiday, who was knocking down defensively, now all of a sudden found his offense. Giannis is a big man who has the most agility of a guy his size that we have seen, Greeny. And by the way, you remember game 1 of the NBA Finals? We didn't think Giannis was playing. That's how Batman swooped in and saved the day, Big Perk. He swooped in and saved the day. Then he had back-to-back 40-point games, and he got Perk apologizing.
But that's okay because one thing about me,
Perk was arguing with me about Batman and Robin, and then he started calling Giannis Superman.
Hold on. But let me tell you the difference between me and Jalen Rose. See, Giannis is shining like new money right now. But see, last year around this time, when LeBron James was shining like new money, it was guys like Jalen that still wouldn't come on here and give him his props. See, I'm not that old type of hater. See, I embrace the new generation. If the new generation,
LeBron ain't the new generation
listen, he's under you. From what you grew up to, you're scratching the surface of being a senior citizen, J. Rose. So at the end of the day, your generation is different. You're not in the same generation as I am. And so when it comes down to certain things, Greeny, I don't have a problem with giving credit. I want to address one more thing. When I talked about Giannis last series, for as him being the defensive player of the year, we have to talk about it in the moment. Kevin Durant was giving that team everything and more. And what I'm saying is, with me, far as playing with a former defensive player of the year in Kevin Garnett, being to the NBA Finals 5 times, winning the championship, I watched a guy say, go to the huddle and say, I got him. Whether it was LeBron James, whether it was Kobe Bryant. All I was asking was, what was the defensive player of the year when Kevin Durant was giving his team that work? At some point in time, you have to go and say, Coach, I'm going to guard him. I was challenging Giannis, not hating on Giannis.
Jalen, very quick.
Let me ask you a question. Example.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Just because I want to get one question in that I didn't get to ask you, and I'm running out of time here. I got 30 seconds. Jalen Rose, here's the most important question of all. Who's going to win Game 6 of the NBA Finals tonight in Milwaukee? Do the Bucks win the championship, or do the Suns extend it to 7?
Giannis is going to be dominant in the paint, Greeny. He hasn't been attempting three-point shots. He hasn't been attempting one-leg Dirk shots. He's literally been dominant in the paint. Drew Holiday's been scoring. Chris Middleton's been scoring. And being in the arena, it's been electric. Big Perk will tell you. The big fella took a picture with Kareem and the Big O. They might be there. I feel like the Bucks find a way to advance.
Advance would actually be advancing to the celebrations of the championship. They win it tonight. Perk, you agree?
Not this time, but for the simple fact, the hardest game is the closeout game. And this Suns team is real competitive. And I feel like Chris Paul, he's due to shine in the biggest moment. I feel like the Suns is going to shock the world today and actually win this game.
Didn't you say at the bottom of the screen that Giannis is the most disrespected superstar in the history of the game? Look, he's going home.
That has nothing.
Averaging 30.
Just because.
Hold on, my turn, Perk.
Jay Rose. Just because you
Just because you pick J. Rose before Game 5, you picked CP3 and the Suns to win, and you was talking about how CP3 was gonna be hotter than Wingstop thighs and Louisiana style and all that. You said it in Game 5. What's the difference now? I can have a different opinion about who I think gonna win the game.
I was out of time 4 minutes ago.
He
you
was
guys
talking
are the
about
best.
the new generation, and he brought up LeBron James,
Right.
the oldest superstar in the current NBA.
You guys are the best. This argument will doubtless continue all through the day.
I'll see. You know what?
The truth
I'm
hurts.
See you in the locker room, and I'm gonna make sure Giannis sprays some champagne on that.
Okay, we'll see. The game is tonight. You will see Game 6 of the NBA Finals tonight. Will Jalen be right and the Bucks clinch the championship? Will Big Perk be right and we force a Game 7? Find out tonight, 9 Eastern on ABC and ESPN Deportes. Coverage